Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So welcome everyone for the Thursday evening Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. And today is even more special because today is Ekadashi, Hari Vasara, it is called as the day which is very dear to Lord Sri Krishna. And on this day, it is recommended that one should chant more rounds, one should read more, one should hear more. And I'm feeling very fortunate that I'm getting this opportunity with all of you all to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam on this auspicious day. So let's begin. Let's begin our intense Thursday sessions by chanting Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langhayate girim yat kripatam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Ram Hare Hare. So hope the audio and video both are clear to everyone. It's clear for everyone? Can you please ping? Okay. So let's begin. So we are discussing a very important pastime, a very intense pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. It is described that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Krishna, when he appeared on this planet 530 plus years back, he would discuss two pastimes very elaborately and very frequently. And it was Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes and Dhruva Maharaj's pastimes. So you can just imagine that how important this particular pastime is, because this actually creates a different level of enthusiasm in devotees, to practice devotional service. So till now we have seen that how Dhruva Maharaj felt insulted because of his father. He went crying to his mother Suniti, and Suniti got to know that how her co-wife Suruchi, she spoke so many nonsensical things. But then she acknowledged one point which Suruchi had spoken, that is, one should do devotional service onto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because of that one can attain whatever one wants. And Suniti she spoke all good things, to Dhruva. That don't be envious or don't have any grudge against the person who has spoken harsh words to you. Don't feel um, uh, don't feel hatred, towards such people. And she also made sure that she tells what path Dhruva Maharaj has to take. And she encouraged, giving the example of Brahma, Swayambhuva, Manu, that all of them attained the success because they worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, we understand that how Suniti, she encouraged Dhruva Maharaj. And as soon as she completed her talk, Dhruva Maharaj, with great determination, he left the house and he started walking towards the forest. Now, in the forest, when he was walking in the forest, so at that time, out of nowhere comes Narada Muni. And in the last session, we had discussed clearly that how Krishna facilitates our advancement in Krishna consciousness by sending a bona fide representative of himself. So here, Narada Muni comes, Krishna sent Narada Muni because Dhruva Maharaj had a sincere desire to meet the Lord. And since that sincere desire was there, Narada Muni comes to facilitate that sincere desire. Now, Narada Muni starts speaking. So let's see what Narada Muni will tell Dhruva and how he'll inspire Dhruva in various ways. So let's try to focus. We begin from shloka number 26. Aho tejah kshatriyana manabhangam amrishyatam balopyayam hrida dhatte yat samatur asadvachah. How wonderful are the powerful Kshatriyas. They cannot tolerate, just a minute. They cannot tolerate even a slight infringement upon their prestige. Just imagine, this boy is only a small child, yet harsh words from his stepmother proved unbearable to him. The qualifications of Kshatriyas are described in Bhagavad Gita. Two important qualifications are to have a sense of prestige and not to flee from battle. It appears that the Kshatriya blood within the body of Dhruva Maharaj was naturally very active. If the Brahmanical, Kshatriya or Vaishya culture is maintained in a family, naturally the sons and grandsons inherit the spirit of the particular class. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, the samskara or the reformatory system is maintained very rigidly. If one fails to observe the reformatory measures current in the family, one is immediately degraded to a lower standard of life. So it is so nice, we see in our Vedic times, during these rule of these great kings, that the kings were there and their sons would also become very amazing kings. And their sons would also become amazing kings. Like, for example, we had Arjun, then Abhimanyu, then Parikshit. And they were all like glorious. All of them were glorious in one or the other way. So how in the Vedic times this was possible? Because now we see the parents are good, the kids are demoniac. Okay, parents are demoniac, kids are good. So weird combination is happening now. So it's a science. What is that science? The science of family life. And this science of family life has got something called a Dasha Samskara. Starting from Garbhadhan Samskar till Antyeshti Samskar. So there are different samskaras which are there, which one is supposed to do. Basically rituals, which are there. And in those rituals, many things are taught and many things are spoken, which helps the person, to progress in one's own life. See, samskaras are important for growing not just spiritually, but materially also. Now, first and foremost, we have to understand that currently, in the name of love, in the name of affection, in the name of, I don't know, nowadays college students use different terminologies, crush and whatnot. I had crush on this girl. I don't know what's that, but that's how people say crush. So one thing we have to understand is, in Vedic times, there was no free mixing that was allowed. I remember in one of the classes, so men were in all our classes, we all know, right? We keep distance between the males and females, Prabhujis and Matajis. In between, we have some space. So we always have the sitting arrangement like that. So in one class of one of my friend who was taking brahmachari friend, so he was sharing with me that he told to make the groups. Prabhuji should sit on one side, Mataji should on one side. One Mataji, she got very offended. It seems like, why are you making difference like this? Why are you making difference? And looks like she was a feminist or something like that. And she was like, why? What is the need of all this? So one thing that we have to understand in the age of Kali is things are degraded and degrading with time because of free mixing. That too, we can see that free mixing is so rampant now. I was discussing this with one brahmachari also, and last Sunday also I spoke about this. That nowadays we have something called as co-live PGs, where unmarried boy, unmarried girl, they stay together in the same room. I don't know what sort of culture is this, and what sort of advancement and modernization is this. This is what is happening. Few of our boys, they went for pass distribution in the PGs. So they were telling, they opened, the door was open, and there was like 3 girls and 1 boy. And another place, 2 girls, 2 boys. And then they were describing, and all of them were sitting on the same bed and whatnot. With time, this is going to become very normal, very casual. Oh, very nice, and this and that. But then we have to understand we are degrading like anything. Very much we are degrading. And also, now begetting kids is also become very difficult for people. One is obviously lifestyle, and for many people, it is because of the adharmic life that they have lived for quite some time. I don't know the current generation, the next generation, what sort of kids they want to beget, but we see very clearly that how this teenage pregnancies or pregnancy in the youth before marriage, then abortions, pregnancies, abortion, and contraceptive, and this and that, whatever is used. So all that actually affects the womb of the mother in various ways. And then, when actually they want to beget a kid, it will be very difficult because the womb is contaminated in various ways. So we have to understand in Vedic times, no, people are not foolish. Now currently people think, oh, we are modern and it's all cool and it's all fashion and this and that. It's all nonsense. Vedic times, people were much more intelligent than us, and so they have made some rituals, they have made some social etiquettes, they have made nice samskaras, which are supposed to be done. And when we follow that, we will actually be happy, right? So when it comes to begetting kids, Garbhadan samskar is very much mandatory. And it's very shocking that many people don't know what is Garbhadan samskar. Parents have not taught because parents themselves don't know. Their parents might have not taught. So what is Garbhadan samskar? People don't know. So only after coming to ISKCON, and we have so many sessions taken by Grahastha, senior Grahastha devotees, that this topic of Garbhadan samskar is discussed. Ideally, a brahmachari shouldn't speak about Garbhadan samskar, but then we have been instructed by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj that whenever you get chance, you speak about it. Let people get to know what it is. So Garbhadan samskar is a process where before the male and female unite, they prepare their consciousness. They prepare their consciousness in such a way that it is the consciousness is uplifted, to Krishna consciousness. And when they're completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, with that mood, they unite, and with a prayer that, oh Lord, please send your own associate in our family. And with this prayer, when the samskara is performed, so what happens? Such a kid is attracted to the womb, and a very nice, wonderful kid is born in the family. Parents, they complain that, this kid is not listening to me, he does not have good qualities, and this and that. And Baba, that's because of you. With what consciousness did you beget the kids, right? So the culprits are parents and not the kids. They have just been attracted to the womb. So that's why we see that somehow many kids have got demonic qualities nowadays. Back answering parents, beating parents, and getting into all nonsensical activities right from the childhood itself, watching nonsense on the mobile. They have not even attained physical maturity, and they watch nonsense, on mobile, and prematurely they get matured, psychologically. So it's very sad, right? So why we don't have like these Dhru Maharaj? Uttanpad was a Kshatriya. Dhru Maharaj also is a Kshatriya. How come? Because that sanctity was maintained, that purity was maintained in the family by performing samskaras, by giving proper education, right from the childhood in various ways, right? And now we see it's all khichdi. Parents don't know their varna, kids don't know their varna, and everyone wants to become a Shudra only. So in this way, unfortunately, we see in the current situation, it has all got contaminated. It's all got contaminated. There's only one ray of hope that is there for all of us, and that is devotional service. That is the only ray of hope. There is no otherwise. How can we set these things right now? How can we set these things right? Till we get proper knowledge, I think we'll be reaching a good the age. We'll keep moving ahead, and then we'll reach a certain age. Where we cannot do anything. We cannot change anything. It's all done. It's just one way. There's no U-turn. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that the ray of hope is devotional service. If some change that can happen in our life is only because of practicing devotional service, or else there is no other way. Why? Because devotional service, bhakti yoga, is so strong that it directly attacks these contaminated samskaras. It clears off the contaminated samskaras. Therefore, it is said chanting of Hare Krishna is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. It cleanses the mirror of our heart. It cleanses our consciousness. Currently, the consciousness is contaminated in various ways. So when we do devotional service, the consciousness gets cleared. And when it gets cleared, we'll get some clarity of what is going on and what are we supposed to do. And more importantly, with such contamination, we cannot break the cycle of birth and death. Forget it. Not possible. So in this age of Kali, it's the ray of hope that yes, by taking shelter of Lord Krishna, I can advance in bhakti and go back home, back to Godhead, which is the ultimate goal of human form of life. So in this way, we have to encourage people to take up to devotional service. And we should educate people around us about the samskaras. Firstly, we should understand what it is, especially leaders should understand what are the different samskaras, and they should help their members to understand what it is. So few of the samskaras which I remember is the Garbhadan samskar, which happens before the conception. Then after that, we have the few more samskaras in between, Jat Karma samskar or something, where the astrological chart is made. The Namkarna samskar, where the name is given. Nowadays, names are also given so pathetically. Some crap name is given. If the parent chants that name at the time of death, even if the parent is not destined to go to hell, will go to hell. Such names are given nowadays to the kids, and they feel it's fashion. Oh, new, it's like modern names should be given and this and that. Modern names, nahi. We should give the names of the Lord. Then there is some hope for us to purify, right? Then, okay, before that, there is something called a Simantanoyan samskar, that is the baby shower function. Then the child takes birth, and then these samskaras are there. And at one point of time, there will be Vivaha samskar, where the marriage is done according to the prescribed thing, with the following the proper procedures, which are there. Nowadays, register marriage and whatnot, it's all nonsensical things have come into picture. But Vivaha samskar is a very important samskar where in front of Agni, both male and female, they take a vow to live the life keeping Krishna in the center. If we properly see those mantras which are chanted, we will see Vishnu's name coming so many times, Krishna's name coming so many times, right? Why? Because that's an oath that both husband and wife are taking, that we will keep Krishna in the center and live our life and serve Krishna throughout our life. That is Vivaha samskar. And if I'm not wrong, after this, there is no samskar except Anteshti samskar. That is, after the person dies or leaves the body, the family members will do the samskar by which the person will get benefited. Whatever his next destination is, so it will be that next destination will be facilitated through the samskar. If the destination is not proper, the samskar will help to make the destination somewhat proper. No, it cannot be changed completely, but somewhat proper. So in this way, these samskaras, the education of these samskaras should be given to people, who are there. And more importantly, we should encourage people to take up to devotional service, especially chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Look at Dhruva Maharaj. He is that Kshatriya. At the age of 5 itself, Kshatriya qualities are seen. At the age of 5. So you can imagine what sort of purity and what sort of education was given in the entire family lineage. How wonderful. How wonderful it is. That's why Narada Muni, he is like exclaiming, how wonderful. This child is just 5-year-old. This person is so small. And he has got the Kshatriya blood. How wonderful these Kshatriyas are. That's what Narada Muni is telling here. Let's see what else Narada Muni is going to tell. Narada Vacha. Just a minute. Nadhunapya avamanam te sammanam vapi putraka lakshayamaha kumarasya saktasya kridanadishu. The great sage Narada told Dhruva, my dear boy, you are only a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so affected by the words insulting your honor? Purport. Ordinarily, if a child is rebuked as a rascal or fool, he smiles and does not take such insulting words very seriously. Similarly, if words of honor are offered, he does not appreciate them. But in case of Dhruva Maharaj, the Kshatriya spirit was so strong that he could not tolerate a slight insult from his stepmother, which injured his Kshatriya prestige. We'll read one more shloka. Vikalpe vidyamanepi naya asantosha hetavah pumso moham vritte bhinna yalloke nija karma bihi. My dear Dhruva, if you feel that your sense of honor has been insulted, you still have no cause for dissatisfaction. This kind of dissatisfaction is another feature of the illusory energy. Every living entity is controlled by his previous actions, and therefore there are different varieties of life for enjoying or suffering. Purport. In the Vedas, it is said the living entity is always uncontaminated and unaffected by material association. The living entity gets different types of material bodies because of his previous fruitive actions. If, however, one understands the philosophy that as a living spirit soul, he has an affinity for neither suffering nor enjoyment, then he is considered to be a liberated person. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When one is actually situated on transcendental platform, he has nothing for which to lament or nothing for which to hanker. Narada Rishi first of all wanted to impress upon Dhruva Maharaj that he was only a child. He should not have been affected by words of insult or honor. And if he were so developed as to understand honor and insult, then this understanding should have been applied in his own life. He should have known that honor and dishonor are both destined only by one's previous actions. Therefore, one should not be sorry or happy under any circumstances. So Dhruva Maharaj, a special child. He's getting offended. It's very true, isn't it? Small kids, when we insult small kids, small means literally small, like 5 years and things like that. They will not take it. They will not understand also what is happening. And say you make this kid sit on the Vyasasana and put garland and all that. The kid will not understand what is happening. Maybe the kid will play with the flowers and whatever. This is the nature of the kids. And there is a great lesson that can be learned from the kids. Honor and dishonor, they're equipoise. They're busy, doing their own activities. It is described that with time, when we grow in devotional service, when we advance in devotional service, we actually become like an innocent child. Now, every now and then, our ego gets hurt. Someone will tell something in the devotee association. We're like, what is this? How can that person speak like this? He or she devotee? Oh, what's wrong? we start asking these different questions. Because we are still contaminated by our maturity. Because of our maturity, we are contaminated. And because of whatever intelligence we have, we are contaminated. So for us, anything small also here and there, not according to what we desire, we get offended. Little insult and people take, wow, that I'll not see your face anytime. I'll not talk to this person and this and that and whatnot. And when someone is glorifying, so when the glorification is offered, the person feels very nice, very happy. Obviously, as devotees externally, as sadhakas, we might say, no, Prabhuji, what are you saying? I'm not like this. And internally, Arey, you don't know my glories. I'll tell you. You come to my room, I'll tell you someday. I'll elaborate on my glories and give class on that. You didn't notice this particular thing which I did, that particular thing which I did. So externally, no, what are you saying? And internally, Aage kaho, tell me more. It's a nectar that's entering my ear. Tell me more. Yes. So this is the duplicitous nature of a Baddha Jeev, of a conditioned soul. And it's very normal. See, it's not that we will not be happy when someone is glorifying us. We'll feel good. We'll feel a smile comes on the face. Oh, is it? Oh, I'm like this? Oh, is it? But then one thing I have to understand is that honor and dishonor both are connected to what? They're connected to this body, isn't it? It's connected to the body. And body is going to wither away with time. One day we have to leave this body, right? So this honor and dishonor, they're temporary. Why give so much of importance to it? In Chaitanya Shastakam it is said, Trinadapi sunichena taroreva sahishnunam amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hari. It is said that Trinadapi sunichena taroreva sahishnunam. One should be more humbler than the blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree. And amanina manadena. One should give all respect to others and expect none in return. And then the last line says, in such a condition, in such a person, will be able to kirtaniya sadahari, will be able to chant always, do devotional service always. I was wondering, why is it said like this? Why is it so important? Then with time, as we spend some time in Krishna consciousness, in the devotee association, we realize that say today evening, we get insulted by some devotee. And then that just stays in our mind. And then we have taken it to our heart. Or we have gone to some place and we have not been honored the way we were expecting. And then we're like, oh, it's there in the entire consciousness. And next day morning when we are chanting, we will not be able to hear the holy names. We will be able to hear the repeat telecast of what happened the previous day. We'll be able to see that incident again and again, and how I was insulted or how I was not honored. So it's a very, very important thing that this honor and dishonor both actually disturbs a devotee's consciousness. And when he gets disturbed, he or she will not be able to remember Krishna. He or she will not be able to do devotional service nicely. So as devotees, we should try our best, at least artificially, externally. Let's not get so tensed, when we are not honored. Actually, I'm saying this, but to be frank, I also get affected sometimes. But then by Lord's mercy, since we keep giving classes, since we keep reading, immediately it clicks in the consciousness saying, no, go hell with all this. I'm not here for honor and dishonor. But still, in that few seconds, there is a huge possibility where the person feels. And sometimes if it's a huge insult, then it stays for a good number of hours. So it's a very subtle thing, because right from our childhood itself, we have been trained like that. Honor and dishonor. People say also, right? Parents say also, what will society think? If you do like this, what will society think? Just taking a tangent. Nowadays, parents feel that doing more devotional service is out of fashion. So what will society think if you do devotional service? Mera naak katwayega kya? Because of you, I'll not be able to raise my face in front of anyone. मैं किसी को मुंह उठा के दिखाने लायक नहीं रहूंगा. So many dialogues people, parents tell. You can imagine the contamination that has entered in the consciousness of the parents. When the kid is practicing, when the son or the daughter is practicing bhakti, they feel that it is not proper. I remember when I joined Brahmachari Ashram. So one of my relatives was telling me that how will we show our face to others and what we will tell? What will we tell? That, so and so, I don't know what relation I had with them. So and so person, so tightly connected with me as a relative, he has taken up to round order of life. Then I was logically explaining. See, what if I would have ran away with some girl and got married? Same thing would have happened. No. Then he's like, no, that would have been still a thing to be honored of. A thing which will give us honor, in the society. What you have done now, that's a useless thing. How will we show our face in the society? And I was thinking, my God, running away with a girl, having alcohol and doing all nonsense, that is good. And when it comes to getting into renounced order of life, that is a problem. Doing devotional service is a problem. I was shocked that even some people who are married, their parents also, they keep nagging them. Why are you doing so much? Why are you doing so much? Arey, what is the problem? What is the problem? Now, we should, at least if that question comes to us, we should have this firm conviction that what we are doing is correct. Because devotional service is ultimate. These people who are putting obstacles or trying to tell us that we are not doing right thing, for sure, these people have no other destination than hell if they don't practice devotional service. And if we subscribe to what they say, we will also follow their path to the hell only. Because devotional service is something should be encouraged always. It's not that it should be discouraged. But devotional service should be encouraged always. That's very, very important. So whenever we get chance, we should speak about devotional service. That how important it is. This is the only savior. And we should actually speak about this point that devotional service is not meant only for retired people. No, we should make this point very clear. So recently we had gone to Sri Rangapatna with 85 boys. So I gave a class on spiritual urgency. This was the topic, spiritual urgency. So in that I was telling that how nowadays parents, grandparents, they all say, why are you doing now? In this age, what is the need of practicing bhakti? Do it in the old age. At that time we'll have a lot of time. Do it that time. Why are you wasting time now? So there was a lot of discussion that was there, and logically, I proved that how practicing bhakti now is very, very important. Now or never. Because currently the body is healthy. Currently we are able to hear, see, whatever. We have memory power. We have strength, to do various new activities. And we have that intelligence to grasp and understand. And we can focus now. I've seen old people, they cannot focus. They'll forget. One devotee, one of y'all, I don't remember who was that, was telling that, my mother or grandmother or whoever, that she's not able to remember the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Can you please help? And I was like, what is there to remember in Hare Krishna Mahamantra? And I was just thinking like that. But then if we think about that old person, we can understand the pathetic situation that they're not able to remember Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Not able to remember Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This will be the state in the old age. At that time, we'll start practicing bhakti. Are we foolish to say that? Are we foolish to do that? In old age, we can just eat the fruits of the mature tree of our devotional service. We cannot plant a seed. In the old age, we cannot plant a seed. So old age is meant to eat fruits of the mature tree of our devotional service. And that seed should be planted good time before, a good number of years before we become old. The plant should grow. The seed should sprout, then it should grow, and they should be protected nicely. Then it should develop into a tree, and then it should have flowers, and the flowers turn into fruits. It takes a huge time. So we are actually late. Already we are late. Very, very late. And in that also people come and tell, Arey, why you're doing so early? And then we also feel, I think it's early only. We should. 50-year-old people say that, oh, it's very early. So when you want to practice, 50 years is early. It's a very sad situation of people on this planet that they feel, oh, anyways, I want to live for 100 years. So it's okay. It's okay. So anyways, I took a tangent from our discussion. So the point is that when it comes to honor and dishonor, we as devotees should try practicing our best. And whenever we get affected, we should pray to Krishna, that Krishna, look at my fallen state. I got affected when the devotee spoke, I got affected like this. Look at my fallen state. Please help me to purify. Please help me to become pure and not get affected with this honor and dishonor of this world. And when some honor is given to us, some glorification is given to us, we should ask this question to ourselves, that do I deserve this? Did I was the only one who did this? If Krishna wouldn't have empowered me, was it possible for me to do this? He has Paramatma in the heart. He gave me remembrance, so I was able to do this. He gave me knowledge, so I was able to do this. And then we should also ask this question in the devotee association when people are glorifying us. If say we are not in ISKCON, say we are not part of the congregation, who will glorify us? Who will glorify us? Oh, you're such a nice devotee and this. Oh. If you're not part of ISKCON, why will ISKCON devotees glorify us? Right? If Prabhupada wouldn't have established ISKCON, then just think about do an activity where you just close your eyes and remove ISKCON from your life. Remove Srila Prabhupada from your life and just see what remains. It's all void. Nothing remains. It's all void. So if today, if I'm getting some honor and glorification in the association of devotees for whatever services I'm doing, it's because of Srila Prabhupada. He is that main personality who has given us shelter in ISKCON first. And before even coming to Srila Prabhupada, it's Lord Sri Krishna, who has empowered us, with various qualities, so that we can do some service, to this mission which is established by Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, we should analyze. We should analyze. And another thing that we need to analyze is that, okay, these people are glorifying me. Will this glorification take me back home, back to Godhead? Will this take me back home? They don't know. They have just seen me for 1 or 2 hours in some service. At home for 22 hours, I know what nonsense I do. I'm not able to think of Krishna. In the devotee association, I act very nicely. I'm a devotee and tilak and kanthi and yes. So this bogus fake thing which I'm doing in devotee association, they don't know. But they are so innocent that they see my little service and they start glorifying. So we should actually analyze for ourselves. So by the way, I don't have any, I'm not saying that all of you are like that. Yes. When it comes to us, we should think like that. Whenever it comes to us, for our analysis, we should think like that, not to analyze other person. Abhi to acting kar raha hai. We are not meant for that. Every devotee is genuine except me. That is the mode of a devotee. Every devotee is genuine. They are all genuine devotees. And look at me. Externally, Mathe Tilak Kanti Mala. That's the only thing that is there, wearing Vaishnava attire. But then internally, all demonic qualities. That should be our thought process for ourselves, right? So we should analyze this glorification they're giving. They're not able to understand what I am. So why should I accept this glorification? And say the glorification is actually given or made. So what are we supposed to do? Pass on the glorification to actually deserving people. And who are the deserving people? Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. They are the deserving people. So when someone is glorifying us, we should just tell in our mind that, oh Prabhupada, oh Lord Krishna, without your mercy, I couldn't have done all this. So actually, you are the right recipient of this particular glorification. Please accept this glorification and bless this particular devotee. So this should be our mood. So as soon as someone glorifies us, we should pass on the glorification to Srila Prabhupada in the parampara to Krishna. This is the mood of a devotee. So when we start doing that, with time, what happens with time is, we'll be not very much affected by honor. Little bit, surely, with time, Little bit will remain for sure, but then we'll not get swayed like we were getting swayed before. And when it comes to dishonor, we should take it as an opportunity to grow in Krishna consciousness. We should tell, okay, Krishna has given me an opportunity to understand where I'm lacking. Let me improve on this and let me move ahead. Instead of proving the other person wrong, no, this is not correct, that is not correct, and things like that. We shouldn't do that. Instead of doing that, why not take it as a positive thing and correct oneself and move ahead in Krishna consciousness? So this is the thought process of a devotee, that I've got an opportunity to improve, and we should focus a lot on that critical point that is made by other person and improve on that particular point. Once one senior devotee was telling that if someone is pointing at us, pointing some negative and saying some negative things about us, it means that we have surely done something. Maybe what they're pointing to might not be the actual thing which you might have done, but we have done something. Because of that, this particular thing is coming to me now. There is some negativity that is there in me, which has got manifested in some place, some way, and that is manifest, and then this person is pointing towards me, right? So it need not be whatever the person is pointing towards us. It need not be always that I've done that particular thing, but then we have done something else which has triggered that particular person to speak about some negativity about us. So that devotee was speaking to me, very senior. So that devotee was telling, never ever it will happen that someone is pointing towards us and we're fully innocent. No. Smoke cannot be there without fire. He made it very clear. So there will be surely some or the other thing, small or big, there will be something in the background which we have to scratch and go deep and find out what is that. So when someone is pointing towards us, means surely there is something which we have to improve on. Maybe it might not be that what that person is pointing to, but surely there is something else that is there, in our baggage, which we have to rectify, correct, and properly or put it right, set it right. So in this way, honor and dishonor can be used positively in Krishna consciousness. Instead of becoming depressed and nagging and keep nagging about what the person said when we are dishonored, when we are disrespected, or flying in the air that, oh yeah, I am pure devotee and I am this, I am that, when someone honors us or someone glorifies us. Instead of that, this is the mood that we should have. I hope this will help us in our day-to-day life and devotional service when someone glorifies us or someone insults us. So someone insulting is an opportunity for us to grow. Someone glorifying, we pass on that glorification to Guru and Krishna. We don't keep it with us because we don't deserve that. I hope this point is clear, to everyone. Let's go to the next shloka. Okay, one point which I forgot to make here is that obviously honor, dishonor, all that is there, but if we don't deserve something, we will never get it. Say we have to suffer, so it will come in the form of insult. And when we are getting insulted, when something happens to us negatively, one thing we have to understand is that is coming because I've got some sinful reactions pending in my quota, which is getting manifested now. Never ever it will happen that in this material world we will get something which we don't deserve. If we're getting insulted, it means we deserve that. Yes. So you have to understand this point very clearly. And when we are honored and glorified, we know very well that how it's by the mercy of Krishna and Guru, it is happening because they have empowered us and we are able to do that. And just karma will not be enough, to do some good activity. We need the mercy of the Lord and things like that to do it really nicely, that particular service. But when some insult is coming, then you have to understand that anyways, that suffering had to come to me and I'm getting this particular suffering. So Dhru Maharaj, so Narada Muni's point is, you're an innocent child, but then if you're getting affected by the words of your stepmother, then you should also have understanding that this honor and dishonor are temporary in this world. Why are you taking it seriously? So in this way, Narada Muni is trying to make Dhruva Maharaj understand. Next. Paritushye tatastatha paritushye tatastat tavan matrena purushah daivopasaditam yavad viksheshvara gatim buddha. The process of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the process of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very wonderful. One who is intelligent should accept that process and be satisfied with whatever comes, favorable or unfavorable, by his supreme will. The great sage Narada instructed Dhruva Maharaj that one should be satisfied in all circumstances. Everyone who is intelligent should know that because of our concept of bodily existence, we are subjected to suffering and enjoyment. One who is in the transcendental position beyond the concept of bodily life is considered to be intelligent. One who is a devotee especially accepts all reverses as gifts of Supreme Lord. When a devotee is put into distress, he accepts this as God's mercy and offers him repeated obeisances with his body, mind, and intellect. An intelligent person, therefore, should be always satisfied depending on the mercy of the Lord. Everyone who is intelligent should know that because of our concept of bodily existence, we are subjected to suffering and enjoyment. Yeah. So, few more points which is there in the theme that we're discussing. So now, going back to the honor and dishonor thing that we're talking about, or more, I think let's go more deeper. When we are very much affected in our life, when we are very much affected by whatever incident or whatever it is, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. So when we get affected, so how does the devotee take it? This is the point that is spoken here in the purport. A very beautiful shloka from 10th canto, 14th chapter, where Brahma is offering prayers to Lord Krishna. Very nice prayer. It says, Tattenu kampam sushamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam ritvakvapu bhir ridadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhag. So this is the shloka which Prabhupada has given, the translation of which is given in the purport, towards the end. It says, Tat tenu kampam sushamik shamanaha. So what a devotee does, a devotee's quality is in every situation, the devotee tries to find out or tries to understand the mercy of the Lord. In every situation, at least we have seen in our life, literally every situation, good or bad, every situation is actually the mercy of the Lord for us to progress in devotional service. So a true devotee, see, externally telling, मैं भक्ति करता हूँ, मैं जप करता हूँ, and when newcomers, new people and few who are egoistic, they say, हाँ हम तो ये भक्ति क्या है, ये तो हम पूरा दिन मन में चलता रहता है, हमारे मन को साफ रखिए, सब ठीक है. ये क्या माला वाला पकड़ के, क्या तिलक क्यों लगाया है, ये कंठी वाला क्या, दिखावा क्यों करना है? भक्ति तो मन में होनी चाहिए, भक्ति तो साफ दिल में होती है. And what not people tell, my God. Before coming to ISKCON, still we could hear all that. But now after coming to ISKCON and understand the philosophy and all that, when someone says bhakti man mein honi chahiye, it feels like beating the person left, right, center. Recently, in the last Saturday, I gave a class here. And Saturday evening is meant for unmarried boys. So, we have huge crowd and we have fun time. So after the class, few boys were sitting and one boy, I was asking him, so are you chanting every day on beads? He said, no, I don't need to chant on beads. A full day I do bhakti. And I went so crazy. I don't know why, but then, I literally bursted my, I got bursted at that time. And I told him, this is foolishness what you're talking. How can you do bhakti full day? Means we have to just think, at least the person should think before making the statement. Full day bhakti means what? Are we the Paramhamsas and at the form of, at the platform of prema level or what? All the time we're able to think about Krishna, all the time chant Hare Krishna. And sometimes when people say in the mind always Hare Krishna goes on, then why are you in the material world then? You should be in the spiritual world. Why are you here then? If every time bhakti is going on, it means you never get lusty desires, you never get angry, or you never get greedy. Then why are you depressed then? Yes. Why are you so confused in life then? Now if you're doing bhakti. So people make some stupid statements here and there, which really annoys us nowadays. Hmm. So when it comes to this point, about I don't know why I spoke this. What was the point that I was discussing? One who is intelligent will accept the process. What was the point I lost? No one remembers. When we encounter problems. Okay, that is the point, yeah, we were discussing. After that, also something I said, I guess. Anyways, so when these different problems come. Yeah. So when we have these critical problems, critical situations, those are which come. So at that time, a devotee, he actually analyzes the situation, and then the devotee finds how that particular situation is the mercy of the Lord. See, it's very easy when situations are going well, chanting Hare Krishna, coming in association of devotees, serving, all easy. But when we are really going through tough phase of life, and in that having complete faith on the Lord, and seeing mercy of the Lord in that phase, and then doing devotional service, then we have to pat our back and say, yes, now you're a devotee. It's not easy, by the way. It's not easy. Critical situation, tough phase, rough patch of our life, and in that we continuing to do devotional service with faith. Oh, that's a very big thing. That's a very big thing. So in this way, we have to understand that the first line, Tattenu kampam sushamik shamana. So what does the devotee do? He tries to find, or he tries to understand how that situation is by the mercy of the Lord, or it's the mercy of the Lord. And then Bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. And then say whatever trouble is going through, he just accepts it, as his past karma, and then he just suffers with complete tolerance. He'll not go and point fingers at people because of that Mataji, because of this Prabhuji, because of that person, because of this person. No, because of my karma. It's because of my karma. Let me just take it. Let me just tolerate. Let me just tolerate. Because as I already said, nothing is going to come in our life which we don't deserve. There's no insult, there's no dishonor, there's no critical, there's no rough patch that is going to come in our life which we don't deserve. We deserve it, so it is coming. Right? So a devotee, he just tolerates. He just tolerates his own past karma. And what he does, then that devotee, in that situation, critical situation, Rit, Vak, Vapu, from his mind, speech, and body, he pays repeated obeisances to the Lord, seeking Lord's mercy, waiting for Lord's mercy. See, in a critical situation, if you can remember the Lord and depend on the Lord, it means we're advancing in Krishna consciousness. But if you're trying to prove ourselves right and we're not able to understand, or we're not able to depend on the Lord at that point, we have to understand it's a long way to go. Very, very long way to go. So it's very, very important that as devotees, we should practice this. We should pray to the Lord. We should practice this in our day-to-day life, that how to depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every single situation. So the last line says that such a person is actually eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Why? Because in every situation is dependent on the Lord. Every single situation is dependent on the Lord. So in this way, as devotees, there's lots. There's lots to work upon. Lots to work upon. It's not done. When we're chanting, reading, hearing Bhagavatam class, all this, it's just a beginning, which is there. And when we hear and then we try to implement, we can be a very reformed person. Our heart will become transformed, because of all these different teachings, which are given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we just focus on these points, that's it. Then we'll understand. Okay, it's not very big. Let me handle it properly, depending on the Lord, than going crazy. Right? That's why we see the senior devotees who are there. They'll be always equipoised. Most of the time, they'll be equipoised in all the critical situations. Yes, in most of the critical situations. So it's very nice to see. And with a very peaceful mind, they will hear, and with a peaceful mind, they'll give solution. They'll not get agitated. They'll not get agitated. So once one devotee went to a sannyasi and he said that, Maharaj, can I disturb you for 2 minutes? Then that Maharaj said, you can speak to me for 2 minutes, but you cannot disturb me. So this was the point that was made by that sannyasi. That's very, very nice. Very, very amazing statement. So I think today we have learned enough about how to deal with the day-to-day situations when it comes to honor, dishonor, when it comes to the critical phase of life that we go through. So I'll take some questions now. It's already 8:30. Any questions? Any questions? When is Kartik month starting? So Kartik is starting from 9th, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 9th of this month. So that is from Sunday. So from Sunday it is starting, the beginning of 4th month of Chaturmas. So all of us, I hope all of us have started preparing. So sing Damodar Ashtakam, practice to sing Damodar Ashtakam, go through the meaning of it and try to memorize the meaning also. Keep the ghee wicks ready for everyday lamp offering. Have the photo of Yashoda Damodar in the house. If you don't have, frame it. Now time is there, frame it. And we all can invite devotees home. We can find out some days where you can invite devotees home, where Kirtan can happen at home, and you can serve them nice prasad. So in Kartik, Vaishnav Seva should be done very nicely. So we can invite devotees for Kirtan. We can also arrange in our house some program where all the people from the building, they can come, the apartment, they can come and they can offer lamp to Yashoda Damodar. So that is it's a sale, basically, the sale which is going to start now. Little devotional service we do, and we get lots and lots and lots of spiritual credits. So we as living entities in the age of Kali shouldn't miss this sale opportunity. Literally, it's a sale. You do little devotional service and we get merit like anything. In fact, this is the right time. The ones who are not chanting 16 rounds, please start chanting 16 rounds at least for 1 month. At least for 1 month, chant 16 rounds every day. Every day, okay, few points which I would like to tell since someone asked the question about Kartik. Every day, getting up in Brahma Muhurta, taking bath early in the morning, and then sitting and chanting. Watering Tulasi, circumambulating Tulasi, and sitting in front of Tulasi and the altar and chanting. If possible, we should chant more and more rounds, minimum 16 rounds. And devotees who are already chanting 16 can take a vow to chant 20, 25, 30, 32, and if you have time, 64 and things like that. Every day, morning and evening, offering ghee lamp to Yashoda Damodar photo. So we can offer tulsi leaves, flowers, worship nicely, and offer ghee lamp. So every person in the family can offer a ghee lamp. The ghee lamp should be separate. As any cake, one lamp we made, and everyone is using the same to offer. We should have separate lamps, which we can offer. If not separate lamps, at least the wick can be changed while offering. So every day, morning and evening, we can offer, and at least once, ideally 2 times if we can sing, but at least once, we should sing Damodar Ashtakam and meditate on the meaning of Damodar Ashtakam. And this is a nice time to read the childhood pastimes of Krishna, the Vrindavan Leela, where we can get absorbed in thinking about the Lord, doing his pastime in Vrindavan. And we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam more and more, read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and chant some prayers, which are there in the Bhagavatam, like Gajendra Moksha prayers. Then we have prayers of Kunti Maharani, Bhishma Dev, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers are there. So whichever prayers we know from Bhagavatam, we can recite, or if you don't know, at least read the meaning, translation, whatever is there. So basically, these 30 days, take a vrata, do it as a vrata, proper vrata. But whatever we can do, only that much vrata we can take. Extra we can do the other days, but when we take a vrata, a vow, then we should do it properly. So we can fix the number of rounds. We can fix the offering tulsi leaves offering and all that. How many times we want to offer ghee lamps in a day, that we can fix. Then how many verses we'll read from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, how many pages we'll read from Krishna book. At least once in this month, I would like to invite devotees home. And through my endeavor, at least I would like to make some 100 people, 100 new people offer ghee lamp to the Yashoda Damodar. So these are the different vows that we can take. And obviously getting up early in the morning and chanting in Brahma Muhurta. So that is like something which has to be done by everyone. Yes, and attending Mangalarati if possible. If not physically we should try to come, to the center. If you want, you can come to ISKCON Whitefield or go to any nearby ISKCON temple, attend Mangalarti there, and then at least for a month, we can do that if possible. Because I understand Grihastha life, a lot of responsibilities will be there, but this 1 month somehow we should try to adjust and intensify our devotional service. I hope this will help. When I was working at that time, I had made one video, the big zillion sale. So I think it is there on YouTube. You all can see that. You'll find me with hair and color kurta. So you can watch that. In that, I've explained what are the different things that can be done. Okay, so so many questions. You said about free mixing, F-R-E-E, free mixing of boys and girls. So how can we educate our children about this, as they will face this everywhere? Actually, it's pretty difficult. No, it's almost next to impossible, because they will start thinking that how my parents are out of fashion and this and that. But at least, when the kids mature, we should tell them the importance of maintaining celibacy. The mother should educate the daughters, and the father should educate the sons. But how important it is to maintain celibacy, and how one shouldn't get into watching the adult content, speaking about the adult content and this and that. So we have to educate them. So when they're entering their teens, nowadays, so before teens only, they start doing all this. So whenever you feel that it's happening so nicely, we should sit like a friend and explain. We should openly explain that how all these things, or the male and female can come together and unite only after marriage for begetting kids. All the other times, which it is, if this is done, so a lot of sinful reactions will come and one has to suffer, for the same. And then we can also educate kids about the various sexually transmitted diseases. So basically, we should give a proper awareness, and we will see that they themselves are intelligent to understand that I'm not supposed to get into all this. They will keep a safe distance. So it is said that before the friends explain that particular activity as a sense gratification, very nice activity, the parent should educate the kids very nicely. Information is going to come, but the source of information should be right. So parents are the right source of information. So parents should educate the kids. And there's nothing to shy in this. So when the right time comes, the parent should sit with the kids and explain, how the life proceeds and whatever, what all things are there in life when it comes to the male and female coming together, etc. Yes. So when we explain like this, when it is coming from our mouth, giving references to Srimad Bhagavatam, then they will understand it. But when it comes through their friends, it is with lot of exaggeration, lot of masala, lot of contamination, and the kids will feel, oh, this is what it is. This is life. So we should explain what is sin and what is what through Bhagavatam. Or if you are hesitant to directly discuss, sit and read that section of Bhagavatam. If there are any sections like this, there are sections which can be read with the kids, that how it affects the person, right? And also we should explain this point that if we want to become successful in life, one has to be very focused, and these things will distract the person. These things will distract. So for daughters, one can explain that how important it is to maintain chastity, and for sons, it can be explained that how important it is to maintain the celibacy, to focus on the career and to move ahead, in one's own life. So I think if we explain them in their language, coming to their level, they should be able to accept it, in some way. Actually, all this thing was happening in the Vedic times. As soon as the daughter will mature, as soon as the son will mature, the father will sit with the son, the mother will sit with the daughter, and they'll educate various things. We get children according to our karma, right? So how does Garbhadan Samskar help? Oh, that's a very nice, intelligent question. Yes, we get children according to our karma, but then Garbhadan Samskar, since it is a prayer that is offered to the Lord has the power to change even our karma. So it depends on how purely and how nicely the male and female, the husband and wife, they practice that Garbhadan Samskar. If I'm not wrong, the practice is for good 1 year. Before uniting for 1 year, they have a practice. It's a big schedule, one devotee was sharing, where they have to prepare their consciousness. So it's an intense prayer that is offered to the Lord. So Lord can change. Lord can change. And also another thing, even if the child remains the same, but the consciousness of the child can get affected by the parents' the consciousness of the parents, the consciousness of the child can get affected. So in either ways, it will be beneficial. When someone points us and we accept without any mistake from our side, is it not against our self-respect? So if we feel that we have to justify, okay, we can justify. But then at the same time, as I said, if someone is pointing to us, means something is there that we need to improve. They might be right or wrong, but there is something that is there. If we were proper, then no one can point on to us. But if someone is pointing, means something is lacking in us which we need to improve. We have to find out that and we have to improve. Yes. And regarding self-respect, yes, in the material world, we need to. In the material world, we need to be a bit cautious, when we deal with people. And when people are pointing at us, especially in the office place or whatever is needful, we should do that. But when it comes to devotee association, I was talking about, we should just accept and just keep move on and try to improve on the points which the other devotee has told. And if we are correct, that devotee will get to know it later, later point of time for sure. And if we really affected, then we should clarify. I didn't do it, or that happened, this happened, whatever it is. But yes, in the material life, you're talking about the material world, the material aspect of your life, you should clarify, and not affect your self-respect. Yeah, not get affected. They refute the Mayavadis in misinterpretation of soul's individuality. So when it comes to spirit soul, we need to understand that spirit soul is active. Spirit soul is active. And when it comes to the Mayavadis, for them, they say that everything is one. Now, when the spirit soul merges into Brahman, so it is inactive actually. So we cannot remain inactive anytime. That's why even after reaching the state of Brahman, the person falls down from there. And a verse which will actually help us to understand the individuality from Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, shloka number 12, which says, Natve vaham jatu nasham natvam neme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyaya sarve vayam ataha param. It says, Krishna is telling Arjuna that these people, you, me, and all of these kings existed before, are existing now, and will exist in future also. So Bhagavad Gita cannot be proved wrong, be it Mayavadis or be it anyone. So this particular verse, is actually a tight slap for the Mayavadis, because this talks about the individuality of the soul in the past, present, and in the future also. So Krishna himself is making this statement. So one is we will be always active. There's no question of becoming inactive. According to Mayavad philosophy, we'll merge in Brahman and we'll lose our identity. So our service mode. So what about our service mode? That is gone. And then our activeness is gone. So this is not valid. And Krishna's reference, so Krishna himself is saying that how we all are individuals in the past, present, and even in the future. Please send the link of your video. I think you can search Big Zillion Sale. You'll get it. All kinds of souls are looking for some womb. So if a very sinful soul gets very sinful parents, is it not more abominable? That's okay. That's okay. So this world has to work like that. Depending on karma, the mix and match will happen. So match the column. It is going to happen. So that's the law of this world. So I don't think we need to worry about that. We have to worry about ourselves, that a good soul should be attracted to our family. Thank you. A big challenge I am facing is fulfilling duties as grihastha and at the same time remaining aloof from material life. See, one thing as grihasthas, I was hearing in one of the lectures that all these relationships that we have, in the grihastha ashram, be it husband, be it son, be it parents or whatever, actually all these relationships are actually giving us the hint of our spiritual relationship in the spiritual world. So a grihastha can actually understand the relationship, at least what is the experience that relationship in this world itself, what we can have in the spiritual world. Obviously it will be perverted, it will not be straight, it will not be the way it is in spiritual world, but some experience we can get. So in the grihastha ashram, the one important thing that the devotee should try to do is try to cultivate more attachment to Krishna. Because this detachment from material life is not something which we focus on. This is called negation. The Mayavadis focus on that. We don't focus on that. What we focus on is how can I get more and more attached to Krishna. I think recently I was answering this question. Someone was asking that, I shouldn't be attached to my family. We can be attached, no problem. But our attachment to Krishna should be very, very strong. Our attachment to Krishna should be higher than the attachment to our family. We have to be attached. There's no question of not being attached. We'll be attached to family. But our attachment to Krishna should be very, very high as compared to attachment to our family. So this is something which you have to focus on. And more we hear, more we'll get attached to Krishna. So more we have to hear about Krishna, more we'll get attached to Krishna. So our internal attachment to Krishna is more important than the external detachment from the family. There are like many, many examples in the past. I'm sure all of us know various examples, like the example of gopis, the examples of the Brahmana Patnis. So all these different people, they externally, they were there in the family. They had their own duties to do, attachments or whatever. But then their attachment to the Lord was so strong that they were absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord. So as grihasthas, it's very, very important to develop attachment to the Lord. Even brahmacharis also, but for grihasthas all the more, because there's a lot of attachments around. So whatever attachment we have, more than that we should have attachment for Krishna. Then we'll be saved. How to see we are progressing, especially when external factors are not supporting. Over the period, it gets overwhelming on how to proceed and what to do and what not to do. So what are the external, how to see we are progressing, especially when external factors are not supporting? I think that's what today's class was all about, towards the end. That when the external things are favorable, to practice bhakti is not a big thing. Everyone can do it. But when external things are not favorable, at that time, with determination, when we practice bhakti, we are proving it to Krishna. Krishna, I want you. I want you this very life. This is the proof that I'm giving you. That even in this critical situation, I don't want to leave your lotus feet. Come what may. Come what may. Entire world will go on one side and I'm there on the other side. Still, I will choose you only. So in the critical situation, how will we understand, am I progressing or not? In that critical situation, if we continue practicing devotional service and depend on the Lord for His mercy, then we can say I'm progressing. And if we get deviated, we get disturbed, and then we're like, oh, what is the use of doing bhakti? And even after doing bhakti, I'm suffering so much, and this and that. That devotee is a dicey devotee. Dicey. So that devotee is not fixed up. And progress is very difficult for such devotees. So if we are fixed up, means in any situation, In any situation, I am not going to reduce my intensity of devotional service. In fact, in critical situation, intensity increases. It actually multifold times increases because the dependence on the Lord becomes more intense. I don't know if we all remember, I keep telling this, that every crisis is an opportunity to get closer to Krishna. Because the crisis for devotees, Krishna is acting, so Krishna is creating that crisis. So that crisis which Krishna has created will become successful if we can depend on Krishna and get closer to Krishna. So every crisis is an opportunity to get closer to Krishna. Yes, as you're saying, with time it will become overwhelming. But then we have to understand that we are not here to set right. We are not here to set things right in this world. We cannot do anything. We are very, very chutku to do change anything in this world. But for sure, this thing we can do, that depend on Krishna, take shelter of Krishna, and get closer to Krishna. This is in our hand. Otherwise, other things are not in our hand. It's out of control. Out of control. Hope this helps you. It is so nice to know that we will not get anything that we don't deserve. Yeah, true. Never. Actually, I keep thinking about that. I get a lot of solace. Oh, thank you, Pratap, for posting the video link. I saw in a video that Hanumanji did not had Gada in Ramayana. Is it true, Prabhuji? Did Hanumanji had Gada in Ramayana or not? Hanumanji is always with Gada. No, that's what we have read. He uses the Gada in various ways. So, if I'm not wrong, he had one. And I don't know which video you have watched. If it's a video from ISKCON, and if it's authentic, then we can still see the reference, ask for reference in the comment section. Then maybe if they post some reference, then I can comment on that. But till date, whatever authentic photos we have seen, everywhere he'll have his Gada. He'll have his Gada always. Yeah. Okay, thank you all very much for joining. So all the best. Kartik Maas is starting. So next class. By the way, next week I'll not be there to take the Thursday evening class. I'll request Harikshetra Prabhu. His chance was last week. He was not there. I'll request him to take the class. So I'll pray for all of you in Vrindavan. So please pray firstly that I should go to Vrindavan. Many obstacles come, when we go to Dham, especially in such auspicious time. So we are just going for 3 days, planning to visit some temples and meet some devotees and spend some time fully Krishna conscious. So please pray that our yatra becomes successful, and also we'll pray that all of you progress. So I request all of you that please don't waste even a single day in Kartik. Don't waste a single day. Even if we have fever, even if we are on the bed, no problem. Let's be very intense, in our practice during Kartik. Let's not waste a single day. Our chanting should be intense. More and more rounds should be chanted. More and more devotional service should be rendered. More and more kirtan should be done. Lamp offering. So all these different things, please don't miss. Offering tulsi leaves and so on and so forth. So please don't miss. Let's utilize. And I've seen in my own life that this Kartik Vrata has helped me a lot, right from my initial days of Krishna consciousness. I was very fortunate that I got association where people encouraged us to do Kartik Vratas. And we did it. And it really helped us a lot. And the last 5 days of Kartik are very, very important, which are called as Bhishma Panchak. So here in ISKCON Whitefield, we brahmacharis, we eat only roots and fruits for 5 days. Those last 5 days, we fast from grains and more devotional service during that time. So it's very, very effective. Very effective. I'm telling from my own experience. It's very effective, very useful. And there's a time when we can advance like anything in Krishna consciousness. So plan your entire month in such a way that don't waste it. I know Diwali is coming and this and that, but try your best to be there wherever you are and have only prasad and chant your rounds and whatever. Don't compromise on your sadhana in any ways. In fact, increase your sadhana. So thank you very much. Have a nice, intense, blessed, and spiritually blissful Kartik Vrata. And every day, please pray for me whenever you go in front of the altar. Please remember me. And please pray for me that I progress on this wonderful path of Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam